Welcome to my channel. This video tutorial will provide a step-by-step guide on making this beautiful tassel bag. If you're interested in learning this craft, please keep watching. Do not also forget to subscribe to my channel, like, and share this video. Now let's get into it. So the first thing we want to do is create a base for our bag, and with that you want to cut out like a fishing line just about the size you can handle. On your left hand, insert like 6 beads, crisscrossing with the last one, just like basically we're creating like a ring of 6. So still on the left, now we have just one bead hanging onto the wire, so we're gonna be grabbing 5 beads instead of 6. So that's gonna make it like a ring of 6, and then you're gonna crisscross with the last one. So now you have one bead hanging onto the line, just like so. So your right line is gonna be your passing line, so you don't load that up. So you're gonna pass it to the next bead, just like so. Pass it and pull tight. Now we have 2 beads hanging onto the wire, so we would be needing just 4 beads, and that would go to your on the left line, crisscrossing with the last one. So yeah, we've got to pass on. You're gonna pass the line, the line on the right hand to the next bead, just the next bead, like so. Now you have 2 beads hanging onto the wire. Next thing you want to do is grab just 4 beads. Crisscross and crisscross with the last one, of course. Again, you would pass to the next bead, insert 4 beads on the left, and crisscross with the last one. So that's what you're gonna be doing until you get to the point where you started from. I'll let you watch, and I will be back. So closing it up, actually it's kind of like different. So you would have to pass into 2 beads instead of just one single bead. So you pass it into the next one, and then to the next one. So now you would have like 3 beads hanging on the wire. What you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be grabbing 3 beads just to complete that ring of 6, and now you've completed the row 2. That is the second row. So 3 beads to close that up, crisscross with the last one, and now you have your row 2. Now to begin the third row, you're still gonna have to pass your right line into the next bead. You have 2 beads hanging on to the wire. All you had to do is complete that ring of 6 with 4 beads on the left, crisscrossing with the last one, just like so. So this row is gonna be different. So we're going to be making a ring of 6 and a ring of 5. So now that we have a ring of 6, the next is going to be a ring of 5. So you're only going to be passing into 1 bead like that. Pick up 3 beads, insert into the left, and crisscross with the last one. So now that we have a ring of 5, the next is going to be a ring of 6. To make a ring of 6, you're going to pass your line on the right to the next 2 beads. 2 beads. And doing that would give you like, 3 beads hanging onto the wire. So you already have 3. All you have to do, get 3 beads on the left line and crisscross with the last one to make a ring of 6, to complete a ring of 6. So the next thing you want to do is a ring of 5. Pass the line to the next single bead, just 1 bead to make a ring of 5. You should have 2 beads hanging on the wire after that. And to complete a ring of 5, again, you are going to insert 3 beads on the left and crisscross with the last one. So I just let you watch the process and meet you at the end of the line, like where you started from. So closing up this row, it's a little bit different just because we started with a ring of 6 and now we have a ring of 6 as well. So in between, we cannot put a ring of 6. We have to create a ring of 5 in between. So you're still gonna have to pass through those, 2 beads. And all you're gonna be doing is grabbing just 2 instead of 3 to make the ring of 5. And going on to the last row, just to complete the steps for the base, all you want to do not pass the line. Grab 3 beads because you have 1 hanging onto the wire already. So we're just going to be creating a ring of 4 all through. So create that row, the first ring first, and then pass it on to the next bead. So now you have 2 beads hanging onto the wire. All you would have to do is grab 2 beads and crisscross with the last one. Again, pass to the next. You have 2 hanging onto the wire. Grab 2 beads, crisscross with the last one. So I'll let you watch the process and I will meet you at the end of the line where you started from. Done with the base of the bag finally. So now we want to start building the body of the bag. All you want to do, insert 3 beads on your left line, crisscrossing with the last one, just like so. So we're building the body. Next, pass your line to the next bead. You'd have 2 beads hanging out on the wire. Insert 2 beads on your left line, crisscross with the last one. back to the starting point. And to close that up, you pass your line, the line on your right, to the next bead, and then to the next, up there. And now you have three beads, so we want to close that up with just one bead. We're done with the first row, so you're gonna do 8 more steps, 8 more rows. That's how you need to, get the body of the bag done. So by now, you should have your 9 rows all made already. If you want to count, you could count just by, counting the single beads, or counting by rings. So you should have 9 rows, 9 solid rows. And you could just watch again how to get it closed up from here. So you can just watch like a separate video on my channel on how to, hide your wires. If this video is a little bit too fast for you, I was just trying to edit it out because it was getting too long. I don't want it to get to be more than 40 minutes. Yeah, so you want to pass the line following the pattern that you started with. And when you are satisfied, just have to bring those 2 lines together and tie the line. And after that, you're gonna pass that line and the beads until you're satisfied. So hiding the knot, and you could just cut it out with the scissors. Again, when you're satisfied, if you like, you can pass it all around the beads. Just be sure to follow the pattern, the weaving pattern. You don't want to pass it in the wrong way, because it would give you like a rough walk, and you don't want that. So on the 4th one, you're gonna pass your line. So this line doesn't have to be too long, because you're only gonna be working with just 4 beads there. So you insert your wire into the 4th one. Now you have 1 bead hanging on the wire. Insert on your left, insert 3 beads crisscrossing with the last one. So next, you're gonna insert the passing line, which is gonna be your right, on the right to the next bead. Yeah, so do not forget to grab your plier, because sometimes it could be daunting, difficult. You have to do a lot of pulling. So now you have two beads hanging on the wire. Just all you need to do is just get two beads and insert on the left line and crisscross with the last one. So you're gonna repeat the same thing for the last two. And when you're done with that process, this one, weave your line back into the bead, and when you're satisfied, cut the excess out. Now to get the second support, to create a second one, you're gonna have to count 3 beads forward, starting from the very next one to the barrier or the support you have built. 1, 2, and 3. So on the next bead lined up vertically, or the ones facing up, that line, that's the line you're gonna be working with next. So count 3 lines, and then on the 4th one, on the lines, the beads facing up, you're gonna repeat the same process again. To build another support, the next line of support for the back. So when you're done with this process, again, you're gonna count 3 from that point and repeat the same process. Insert your line on the 4th one, and your right line would be your passing line. So you're gonna be loading the left one, okay? So now that you have one hanging onto the wire, all you have to do is grab 3 beads and pull down, crisscrossing with the last one of it, just like so. I just let it watch and let you finish this one as well, and we're gonna come back and talk about the next process. So for the last one, you can have one that would, be a 3, and there will be a 4 in between, like, you know, it wouldn't be like even. So like if you count 3 now, you still be left with 4 in between the last pillar and the next one. So not to worry, the tassel is definitely gonna cover that spot. Just finish up the last pillar and leave it just the way it is. Okay. Chasing dreams beneath the tree. Street signs blurring on our review. In the sky, the darkest blue. Laughing loud without a care. You and me, the perfect pair. Headlights shining just for us. World belongs to us, no fuss. Moonlit skies, we're hand in hand. Wanderlust, we understand. So when you're done building the support for the bag, all you want to do is weave your line back into the bag. Tie the knot and cut the excess wire off and set it aside because it's about time to get started with the handle of the bag. You want to cut a line you can have you just about this size you can handle. Insert 4 beads, sugar beads, crisscrossing with the last one, just like so. So we basically making a ring of 4. That's what we're gonna be doing all through. Pull down, crisscrossing with the last one. And now that we have just 1 bead hanging on the wire, all we want to do is insert 1 bead on the left line and another 1 bead on the right line, and we're gonna be crisscrossing with 1, so that makes our ring of 4. So again, we're making a ring of 4, and that's our number 2, ring number 2. So we have 2 rings. Again, 1 bead on the left and 1 bead on the right, and then you crisscross with the last one, just like so. So now yours should be looking like this as well. So we're gonna be making a turn, and to do that, we're still gonna be inserting 3 beads on the left and crisscrossing with the last one. Perfect pair. Headlights shining just for us. World belongs to us. So after the last ring, flip it over just like that. Still, you're gonna be comfortable working and passing on the wire. To begin the next row, insert 3 beads in the left line, crisscrossing with the last one. Next, pass your line, the right line, to the next bead. And now you're gonna be having 2 beads on the line. All you're gonna be needing is just 2 beads, which would go on the left, and you'd have to crisscross with the last one. other side, just like so, to be able to work comfortably. So now you still wanna, before you pass to the next bead, you wanna create the beginning of that row by inserting 3 beads on your left line, crisscrossing with the last one, and after that you will pass the line on the right hand to the very next bead, just the same way you did for the first and the second row. So next thing we want to do is attach that to the ring, to the handle. And to do that, you just have to position your line, and on your left, the line that is facing, to the right, add 1 bead, and then pass it on to the very next bead on the other line, on the other side of the line. And now you're gonna be crisscrossing with just 1 bead to close it up, just like so. So next you wanna pass the line on the right to the next bead, and then your left line to the next bead on your left. So now you're gonna have 3 beads, and all you're gonna have to do is grab 1 bead and crisscross with that one. Again, pass the line to the next bead, the one on the right line, and then your left line as well would go into the next bead on the left. And all you gotta do is pick on a bead and crisscross with that, closing up that. That's what you're gonna be doing until the very last end, actually second to the last. So make sure the beads are well lined up and facing each other properly. And to close that gap up, just insert 1 bead on your right line and pass to the next one. After that, you're gonna just grab 1 bead, crisscross, closing that up. You want to push it, closer to each other. And now that you have 2 lines like that, the one on the right goes to the very next bead, and then the one on the left goes to the very next bead. You're gonna grab 1 bead and crisscross with that just to close it up. And after that has been done, again, you're gonna pass the line on the right to the next bead, and then the one on the left to the next bead on the left, and you're gonna have to close it up with just 1 bead. You gotta have to crisscross with that one too, make sure it is closed. So next, pass the line to the next beads on both sides, and weave the rest of the line into the beads and set it aside. Next is we're gonna be building like a base for the handle, like an attachment. So start from anywhere, just look for that support. On top of the support, just insert your line into that very one, the one facing horizontally. And now you have 1 bead hanging onto the wire. We're gonna be building a ring of 4. All you've got to do is insert 3 beads on your left, crisscrossing with the last one. Okay, and now next thing you're gonna do is pass the line on your right hand into the next bead, just like so. And you already have two beads. So now, instead of inserting the bead on your left, you're gonna put it on the right hand, because we're gonna be, turning it right back to the left side. And that's what you're gonna have. Exactly what you're gonna have. You should be looking like. So now you want to turn the back head over to you, just like so. And on the line facing the left side, insert 3 beads and crisscross with the last one. So that is our second row. So the right line now would go to the next bead. So again, the line that is facing out, pointing right out, is the one you're going to be loading. So you're going to be inserting 2 beads and you're going to crisscross with the last one. So now turn the bag back to you, just that way. So now we have made like 2 rows. We're going to be doing 3 more. I do 1 more row and then I'll just let you finish up. So now to secure that handle to the bag, we're gonna have to insert 1 bead first to the line pointing to you, like the right one, and then we're gonna go into we're working with those 2 beads that we built on. You're gonna pass your line just like so, and you're gonna have 3 beads hanging on the wire, so that way you already know that we are gonna be closing with 1. So we're doing like a ring of 4 to close it up. Just pick up one bead, insert. Needed to say just crisscross with. It doesn't matter which line it goes into. Just crisscross with the last one. With that, just 1 bead. Sorry. So you're gonna have to do a lot of pulling here. Never mind, you're gonna be okay right after, okay? You're gonna be doing a lot of pulling. And next thing you want to do is you're gonna pass your line, the line on the right hand, into the very next one. So that is the second bead, just like that. You have 3 beads on the line. Now you're gonna be closing. Actually, you're gonna have to pass the line on the left to the next bead, just like so, like that. And now you have 3 beads On the wire, you're gonna be closing with just one bead. Crisscross with that one bead. And after that, you're gonna have to weave your line back into the beads, reinforcing the actual handle. Weave it as far as you could go. And when you're satisfied, make a knot and still pass it on, hiding the knot, and then cut out the excess wire. Do the same thing on the other side of the bag, and come back to this video for further instructions. Next thing we want to get done is the tassel itself. For that, you're going to be needing like a cutout, like a cardboard, and a tassel, the embroidery thread. Measure your bag, and you should have 5 inches. And now you're gonna go to the cardboard and measure. Just be sure that it is like 1 inch longer than the bag. So the next thing you want to do is to start wrapping. You're gonna do that 500 times, just like so. You could place your thread on the floor upright, just to be able to work well with it. 500 times, remember. And now when you're done, you cut that excess out, and then you make a line like 4 times like that. Put that on the side, make a line, and that's what you're gonna use to tie the the tassel. So bend your cutout and arrange a little bit. So all you want to do is pass the line on the right and tie. I just let it watch and just follow the process, okay? And do not cut it. Do not cut it after time. Just let it rest on the body of the tassel, the rest of the tassel. So after you're satisfied with the whole thing, you just gotta grab your scissors and cut the tassel just like that. Hide the knot, just like the way I am doing it on this video. You want to make sure it is well aligned. You remember the knots you made at the beginning. You've got to hide it just like so. And then you're gonna have to cut another line as long as possible, and you're gonna start wrapping around the tip of the tassel just like that. You could do that 15 to 20 times. And then after that, create 4 or 5 knots, just like so, just to secure it. And then grab one line out of the, just follow the process. So this is basically just to secure the knot, to just to be sure it is well tied up and not loose. So you want to measure just about the size of the bag, just like so. Make sure it is just about 5 inches. And if you have anything excess, you want to trim it off. Be sure to get a new scissors. My kid brought that in. I told him to put it in my purse, and he brought it to the one I was making. So you're gonna have to do 23 more. And now I made 20. I think in total it is 24. There are 24 tassels there. So now what we're gonna start doing is we're gonna be attaching it to the bag. So you wanna look for the support of the bag, and right beside it, the line, the bead facing horizontally, just like so. You want to just cut a line long enough to go around the bag, attaching the tassel. So you want to work your way to the top of the bag, and the other line you would definitely have to hide it around, because you're working your way around the bag, and you're gonna be coming back to that other line, and just to kind of secure the bag. And at the end of the day, yeah, so just keep going, follow the process on the video, work your way up there, and come back to the video. I forgot to mention that you have to work your way through up to the top, and to the fourth one, pretty next to the handle. Yeah, we want to start from the fourth one or the third one, wherever you landed at the end of the day. So now it is time to begin attaching the tassel to the bag. So, and this is how.